sure that I didn't order that coffee, or we have several.
Stella.
Just put it down there.
Well, it looks like the caterers have arrived.
Yes, sir?
What's going on here?
Oh, it's the caterers.
Told you.
Why didn't you ask them to go around the back?
Oh, they've got a setup in the living room. It's easier to go through this way. Excuse me.
When I think of the money that we are spending on this hayseed, I can't believe it.
Oh, I am sure that Jimmy Lee is going to be eternally grateful.
What is this?
It says martini glass.
What? This is not a martini glass.
Oh, Alan, don't be such a snob.
Hey, listen, when you think of the cost of putting one martini in this glass, you know what the cost of the gin alone's going to be? Shh. What?
Quiet.
Mystery surrounds the release of Heather Weber after her retraction of an accusation made against Dr. Monica Quartermain.
Retraction?
Ms. Weber has accused Dr. Quartermain, wife of prominent Port Charles physician Alan Quartermain, of murdering Mrs. Baldwin. But according to the statement released this morning, Mrs. Weber now says she was mistaken, clearing Mrs. Quartermain of all charges.
Thank God. Oh, that's wonderful.
Roberts' development in the Susan Baldwin
Don't
murder
touch
case.
that.
New evidence and testimony of an unnamed source seems to indicate the imminent arrest of a prime suspect. Stay tuned for further updates. Now back to music.
Prime suspect? Who could they be talking about, prime suspect? Will you turn that thing off, please? Thank you. Now, will you get the glasses out of here? Places like Grand Central Station, I can't think.
Well, don't look at me. The party wasn't my idea.
It wasn't anybody's idea. None of us had any choice, you remember?
You know, it's just occurred to me. It's rather amusing. A legitimate farce for an illegitimate son. I mean, all things considered. I'm starting to look forward to this evening.
Oh, really? Didn't you just hear what they just said?
Oh, yes, I did. Oh, it's very clear in my mind.
Good. Then you will realize that you better start worrying because the police are about to lower the boom on another murder suspect.
It's not going to be on me, because I'm off the hook.
Oh, I see. Everything's okay as long as you're okay, right?
Well, it certainly perked up my day.
All you care about's your own skin, is that so?
I have to, Ellen, because I seem to be the only one around here who does care.
Oh, now I understand completely. Little Monica's throwing a tantrum because poor old Uncle Al didn't say how happy he was about the fact that you're now off the hook.
That's absolutely right. Because I'm beginning to think that you resent it.
Don't be so stupid, Monica. I don't resent it. I'm very happy for you.
Are you happy or are you afraid?
What does that mean?
What are you afraid about?
I am concerned about the welfare of the entire Quartermain family.
Not to mention the Quartermain money.
They go hand in hand. Where the family goes, the money goes as well. Monica, you would... If you happen to like the way you're living, as comfortably as you are, you would do well to stick together with the rest of this family. Now listen to me very carefully. If you don't act together with the rest of us, Monica, you are going to go down with the rest of us in the same boat.
Hello?
Hello, Monica. Is that you?
Yes, it's me. Who's this?
This is Jimmy Lee.
Oh, Jimmy Lee. Well, I imagine you were calling to see how things are going for the party.
As a matter of fact, that is exactly why I'm calling.
Well, if there are any questions I can answer or any way I can assist you, I'd be most delighted.
Good. Are the caterers there?
Oh, yes, and have been for some time.
Is the bar set up?
They're working on it.
Good. I hope there's a lot of champagne. You know, that's very important. I wanted to see a lot of champagne tonight. I want it to flow, just like in the movies when it comes out of a fountain.
Well, I'm sorry there isn't going to be a fountain, but the champagne is imported.
Good year?
Good enough.
Listen, would you do me a favor? Would you put a couple of bottles on the side for me and put my name on it?
Oh, planning to get drunk tonight, are we?
No, it'll take more than that to get me drunk. As a matter of fact, may I suggest that you all might have a couple of stiff ones, you know. I know how nervous old Edward must be, and a couple of stiff ones might quiet him down, make the pill a little bit easier to swallow.
Jimmy Lee, you give yourself a little too much credit.
Come on, Monica. You're a little worried about this. You can be honest with me.
Well, believe it or not, you are the least of our problems at the moment.
We can't still be worried about that murder investigation. I thought you were all clear to that.
I'm going to just reserve celebrating until they find the real murderer.
You worry too much, just like your old father-in-law.
Will there be anything else?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, yeah. You better put something on the hardwood floors in the entry. Looks like there's going to be rain tonight.
Oh, I will be sure to tell Stella right away. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Goodbye.
Who was that?
The main attraction.
What did he want?
What else? He wanted to see how things were going with the party.
Playing it to the hilt, is he?
Well, if you were in his shoes, wouldn't you?
You have a point there, madam.
Yes, now all you have to worry about is how to get through the evening.
Don't cluster the andrynums quite so close together, Harry. They're very fragile. Look, Edward, aren't they beautiful?
What happened to the Peruvian lilies?
I decided they weren't special enough.
You mean they weren't expensive enough? No wonder
Again,
the
the top story of the
economy's
day.
in such a
Dr.
mess.
Monica Quartermain has been
Will you
cleared of
turn
all
that damn
charges
thing
in
off?
the Susan Baldwin murder case.
What's the matter, Edward? Aren't you interested in hearing about all of the things about me being cleared?
I have already heard it, Monica.
Wonderful news, Monica.
Well, thank you, Lila. Thank you. It's so nice to know at least one Quartermain is happy for me.
We're all happy for you, Monica. We're ecstatically happy for you.
Yes, I can see Edward's just bursting with happy.
Why don't you tell her how happy you are for her and get her off our backs?
You know, it's all well and good for you, Monica, but it sure does make things a lot tougher on the rest of us.
That's a true Quartermain, always looking out for himself.
That's why you've always fit so well into this family, Monica.
Edward, I don't
I
understand.
think what Father is trying to say, Mother, is that the list of murder suspects is now getting narrower and narrower since Monica is no longer on it.
Well, surely they don't imagine that either of you could have murdered Susan.
No, not yet. That's why they're so nervous.
I have nothing to be nervous about.
Oh, well, that I'm not sure about, dear.
Lila, whose side are you on?
Well, ours, of course.
That's exactly my point.
What point?
We have to stick together as a family. It is quite obvious that Scorpio is onto something about the blackmail. And the one thing that we've got to do is keep a united front.
Well, I don't see why I have to jeopardize myself. I mean, I have been cleared.
Look, may I remind you, Monica, the only thing you have been cleared of is Heather's accusations. But according to the news report, there's a new, unnamed source.
Good point. Good point, Father.
I didn't bump bullets into Susan's picture.
There's a big difference, Monica, between shooting at a picture and shooting at a person.
I agree. And frankly, I resent your insinuations.
Well, then we're even, Edward. I resent yours.
So, you all looking forward to the party tonight?
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, you've got reason to celebrate. Congratulations. I heard the good news.
Why, thank you very much, Grant.
Indeed. Well, you all must be very happy.
Yes, ecstatic.
The paper says it looks as if they'll be arresting a prime suspect soon. It's a relief to know there will be one less murderer walking the streets now, isn't it?
All depends on the suspect.
Pardon me?
Oh, thunder. Oh, don't tell me a storm.
Oh, don't worry. Maybe it'll pass over.
Well, I wouldn't be too sure from the looks of things. We could be in for a rough night.
It's taking Monica so long.
Perhaps you can't find Stella, dear. Everything's so chaotic around here today.
You just stay calm, Mother, okay?
We have a lot more to worry about than a little rain.
Oh, hush, Edward. Why don't we have a nice glass of champagne?
I think that's an excellent idea.
Lila, why did you order this French vintage? Good Lord, that California stuff is certainly good enough for that jerk.
Oh, no,
Jimmy,
no.
Will you please take your hands off that bottle?
Well, that's for the Quartermain party later.
I am the Quartermain party.
Yes, in fact, he's the whole Quartermain Empire.
Oh, well, I'm so sorry. Excuse me. Cheers.
Where have you been?
Reading a little blurb about Tolliver.
Where?
Back page, just a little item about the fact that he was brought in for questioning and then released.
Anything else?
That's it.
Well, maybe it's a good sign, dear. If Robert Scorpio had found out that he was blackmailing us, surely he wouldn't have released him.
That's a good point, Lila.
Yes, but if Tolliver told Scorpio everything that he knows, maybe he did that in return for his release.
Maybe Tolliver didn't tell him anything. I'll tell you what, if Scorpio didn't get his hands on those papers, he can't prove a thing.
But if Scorpio wants anything, he usually gets it.
Yes, but Crane wants something else, our money.
That's right as well. You know, the prospect of several $1 million is more than enough to make the man keep his mouth shut.
Look, if he's still got them, if he's still got the papers, why hasn't he come forward to us and asked us for money?
But who knows anything about anything anymore? This whole thing has just gotten totally out of hand.
Oh, now, don't get yourself upset, dear. Why don't we have another glass of champagne?
We have got to do something fast. Now, this calls for ruthless measures.
Hey, you can count me out. I'm free and clear. No way am I going to get involved in anything illegal.
What makes you think that we're planning on doing anything illegal?
It is pretty obvious what she thinks. She thinks we're out to murder the man.
What are you doing, Monica? Are you standing there accusing my father and me of planning to murder Tolliver?
I didn't say that.
Well, you implied it, which is even sneakier and certainly much more your style.
All I said was I had no intention of getting involved in anything illegal.
Nobody is planning to do anything illegal.
Oh, really? Then how come obviously I just struck a nerve?
The only nerve around here is yours, Monica.
And you've got too much for your own good anyway.
Oh, now, my dears, please quieten down. Why don't we have another glass of champagne?
Yes, Lila is absolutely right. Why don't we just all eat, drink, and be merry for tomorrow?
That's enough, Monica.
I'm terribly sorry, but we have to set this up now.
Excuse me. We have some personal business that we have to take care of now. We will let you back in later. Would you mind excusing us? Thank you. Thank you. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Ever since Heather retracted that statement about her accusation of you, your attitude toward this family has been intolerable.
I have been under a lot of pressure for the last few days.
Listen to me. The pressure is off now.
I know that, and I should feel good about it. I want to feel good about it. I don't want to wander around here having everybody treat me as if I've done something wrong.
Well, Monica, what do you want us to do? Take an ad out in the paper telling the whole wide world how happy you are? You know, we have more important priorities right now, and your happiness is certainly not one of them.
I think, dear, that what Edward is trying to say is that it's very important now that we should all stand together.
Well, of course it is. And there's Quartermain money involved, lots of it.
Ah, there's a rallying point if I ever heard one.
Keep your voice down. The main point, Monica, is that we don't know what Tolliver or Scorpio is going to do. And until we do, we better keep our stories together.
Our only concern at the moment should be to get the divorce papers and the marriage certificate. If Cousin Herbert ever finds out that Lila and I were never legally married, he'll be after that money faster than you can say...
Bankruptcy.
That kind of flip attitude is going to get us into the worst kind of trouble.
If we're not in enough trouble as it is. Now, how do we know that Tolliver hasn't told Scorpio everything?
Scorpio has not come nosing around as yet, and so we can just assume that he hasn't. And as Lila says, Tolliver has the chance to make a great deal of profit off of us.
Well, at this point, I'd gladly give him the money in exchange for the papers.
I think we all would, Mother.
It's the only way we're ever going to get a guarantee that nobody will see it, ever, including Cousin Herbert.
Someone mentioned Cousin Herbert?
No.
No.
Yes. Yes. Yes, in fact, we were just all of us we were talking about, well, what a shame it is that he can't be at the party tonight.
Well, his granddaughter will be here in his place.
How could we forget?
What time does her flight get in?
Well, she's flying into LaGuardia in about 2 hours and then taking the shuttle to Port Charles. I'm meeting her at the airport.
Well, I'm very glad, personally, that she hasn't been here for the last few days through all this chaos. I mean, it would be terrible if she would have been subject to all of these false accusations, all this nonsense in the press, wouldn't it?
Oh, yes, it would have been a terrible thing for her.
She would have loved it. She would have been right there in the middle of it all, fighting for you, Monica.
Oh, how nice.
Yes, Celia's quite a girl. She's the kind who gets into everything.
Does she?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Love's a good mystery. If anyone can tell if something shady's afoot, she's the one.
You don't say.
Oh, yeah. You're going to love her.